Hi, today I'm going to discuss about the vacuum, universe and space. We need to have a clear understanding. We need to know the ultimate truth about these three things when we are studying the origin of the universe and universal sciences. Many people raise that they have a doubt. They don't have an answer to what was there before the universe, before the creation of the universe. What was there? Actually, there was a vacuum before the creation of the universe, and physics cannot explain. Physics cannot explain what the vacuum is clearly, because to explain the vacuum, to understand the vacuum, one needs to have an extraordinary wisdom. By an extraordinary wisdom only, one can really understand what the vacuum is. Um, now, as there was the vacuum even before the creation of the universe, and there was no universe in the vacuum when the vacuum was there, from the vacuum the universe originated. Universe originated from the vacuum, or when the universe is growing, the vacuum is contained in it. Vacuum transferred to the universe. In other words, the vacuum is the field to grow the universe, to create the universe. Because you need to have, for the universe to be created, it must have something, and on that only, or using that only, the universe must be created. So that thing is the vacuum. Therefore, now vacuum, as the vacuum has transferred to the universe, now we don't have a vacuum in the universe. It's contained in the universe. At the origin of the universe, we know that already know that the origin of the universe is consisted of light, mass and time. They are coexisting, and they exist as a single thing. And to create this, then only the universe started to begin. So from the vacuum only it originated. And the universe, now as we have discussed already about the force cube, when the force cube was created, it has the directions, forward, upward, backward. It has directions, and it's a 3D shape. So all those things grow in the vacuum only. The vacuum the universe has been absorbed, taken the vacuum. Universe has taken the vacuum to grow. So now there is no vacuum in the universe. The universe is created, as I mentioned before also, the universe is created from the universal wisdom, the supernatural wisdom. Then and also the supernatural wisdom. What is supernatural wisdom? How do we figure it out? It's the brain, actually. The supernatural wisdom, or the universal wisdom, is the brain. That brain is not this physical brain which is consisted of flesh and blood. That this brain, the brain that what we see inside the head, is to understand this present world, based on matter and mind. So that this brain is doing a few functions only. That is enough to live in this present world, to experience this world things. But the brain that we are talking about awakening the brain. When someone learns the universal sciences, when someone studies and explores the origin of the universe, then we say that his brain awakens. Which brain? That is the extraordinary wisdom. That's not a physical brain. And that brain not that brain comes from the origin of the universe, or in other words, the wisdom, the universal wisdom comes from the origin of the universe up to the present moment. So it carries all those universal wisdoms. Now, the universe needs a wisdom to create light, mass, and time as one thing, and then it needs to have another wisdom to arrange light, mass, and time in three perpendicular planes. Then again, the universal wisdom creates the force cube, and it creates the sphere surface too. To create all these things in each step, the universe gains a wisdom, gains the universal wisdom. So that is the brain that we are talking about. So that brain carries all those information, all that wisdom, when it is coming from the origin of the universe up to the present moment. From the origin up to the present moment, the brain carries that wisdom, carries all these steps, the knowledge, the wisdom. So that is what we are trying to awaken by teaching these, by unveiling, introducing these things to the world. Then what happens is, once the universe is created, then the beings, worlds, the plants, other matter, materials, everything is created, right? Everything is created, then that is created from the universe. Or now the universe transfer to the beings and worlds. So now, in my previous video about the tiny universe, I mentioned that we cannot, the extreme boundary of our mind is the Three Sahasri world, and beyond that the mind doesn't exist, so we can't, nobody can go beyond that with the mind, right? But now if one one goes to the extreme boundary of the mind, that is the Three Sahasri world, through his wisdom, then he can awaken his genes. He can, with that wisdom, he can go to the vacuum too. He can go to the origin of the universe. Now, as I mentioned, through the meditation, through the spiritual practices, through the practices of through the exploring, through exploring this content, we can experience the origin of the universe. We can go to the infinite immortal planes. Now, how that thing can happen if the vacuum is not existing? Now, I mentioned that vacuum is transferred to the universe now, and now vacuum is not existing. That is because now our brain, the universal wisdom, or in other words, the Sarvakshna wisdom. Sarvakshna wisdom. The supernatural wisdom of the Lord Buddha, right? So that wisdom, or that brain, carries the information, the wisdom from the beginning of the universe. So when we awaken the infinite, the boundless wisdom of our brain, as this information is contained in the brain, we can go From the present moment, we can go to the universe. At this present moment, the space is existing. We are in the space, and these are space worlds that we live in a space world. From the space, we can go to the universe, and then we can go to the vacuum because it's contained. So you need to have a boundless wisdom. You need to awaken the brain power, the purest brain in the universe that carries all the information for the entire creation of the universe. This is this content is so profound, and but we have to tell the truth. This is the ultimate truth, and to understand the vacuum, space, and the universe is understanding it is very difficult task, but you can try with the qualities. You respect this content, you respect the spiritual teachers, then with that, and you obey, you observe the 5 precepts. You shouldn't avoid from doing evil things, and then you get the chance to experience these, you know. Now we live in a space world. Space means, previously also I discussed that. Now let me take a simple example. Now there are 2 words, universe and space. Why do we see it as these as 2 words? Because there is a gap between those two, right? Because there is a gap between those two, we say that there are 2 words. So that's the space. So this is the space. Even now, between me and this whiteboard, there is a gap, space. So that is why there are 2 things. If there is no gap, then there's no space. So you can't see the individual things, separate things. To observe this whiteboard, my mind has to travel this small space. From my mind travels from here to the whiteboard, and then it captures the whiteboard. The mind travels through the space. So that is why we live in space worlds. So through the space, the things can move, things can travel through the space. Now, when we search in the net and in the books also, all the resources available to us, when you search about space, you will get that the space shuttles and other galaxies and planetary system, those kind of things only. Those are also included, those are also located in the space. From one planet to another planet, there is a space. And even here there is a space. Space is, in other words, it's the mind. Our mind is the space. I will explain these things in detail in my future videos. How do you understand the space clearly, and how to go to the space? Now you think that physically now I am here, and then I can walk and go to the whiteboard, so I can move through the space. It's just to see these physically observable things only, the things that we can observe through our eyes only. In that way, physically we can move and see things. But the space, this empty, we see this space is empty. We see that there's nothing in the space to see, in this gap. But everything is contained in it. Our eyes is not sensitive. This physical eyes Physical eye is it's not able to capture the space. You need to go to the space through wisdom. You need to awaken the wisdom, then you will see the things in the space that are not visible, not that you couldn't see through your eyes. In modern sciences, scientists, physicists say that if you want to go to the space, you need to have a shuttle or some spaceship. That in my previous video also I explained that you can't go to the space, or you can't go from one sun to the other sun by a space shuttle. You can't go by a shuttle or ship, a spaceship. You need to have the wisdom. So how to awaken that wisdom? We can awaken the wisdom to experience the things in the space by meditating. Anapana-sati meditation. Through that you observe your life force. You focus on to your life force, and then you can go to the space. I will explain those techniques. Now, when we say the Anapana meditation, observing the inhaling and exhaling of your breath, is kind of a tough task to many people, because their lives, they are very busy with this busy schedule. But we introduce we introduce to initiate an easy method to initiate it. So then from that method, by initiating to observe the breath, we can go to the space easily, and we can see the many beings, divine beings, Brahma beings, divine planes, Brahma planes, everything we can observe by meditating, by focusing on to our breath, and all those things are in the space. You don't need a space shuttle to go to the space. You can awaken your wisdom. You can observe your mind, the life force, the breath. Then you can go to the space. You physically be here, but your wisdom goes to the space, and it shows you the everything, not to these eyes. These eyes you can't use to see the things in the space. Right, now let me talk about this further. So here is the space. The things are located, things are produced in the space, and the sun, moon, planets, plants, beings, animals, everything is in the space. And we first focus on the space by observing our life force, the meditation. Then when we observe that, we can go to deeper levels of the meditation. Then we can go to the universe. You can go to the universe, and that is then I mentioned that the universe, the vacuum is contained in the universe. Then from the universe you can experience the vacuum. That is how you experience, you go to the vacuum. In the vacuum only, all the universal sciences, the wisdom is established for the entire creation of the universe. And now I'm going to compare the vacuum and space also. Vacuum is at the origin of the universe, at the beginning in the universe. The vacuum, what does it do? It keeps everything connected together. So in a vacuum, everything knows about everything. Let me explain that. Now, when we were discussing the creation of the force cube, we started it with first the origin, light, mass and time were together. Then they got arranged in three perpendicular planes, light, mass and time. Then after an infinite time, one such setup, one such arrangement, time, rotates. One such arrangement rotates, and time, mass and light, these are perpendicular. Right, now this is happening when the force cube is in the process of creating the force cube. This the origin, the three elements light, mass and time at the origin arranged in three perpendicular planes. Then there are many such arrangements in the universe, and then one such arrangement rotates this way. This arrangement rotates. Then, so in referring to the vacuum, these things are happening in the vacuum. This arrangement knows about this arrangement. Arranging in three perpendicular planes is a wisdom. It's a universal wisdom, and that wisdom, and arranging oppositely in this way, the next new arrangement is also another universal wisdom, because the universe is doing that, universal wisdom is doing that, and this wisdom knows this wisdom. These are not existing physically, not at all. This has the connection with this, fully connected. There are no gaps, because there is a vacuum. The universe grows up in the vacuum, so there's no space. Space originated, if you can remember, the space originated at the beginning of the Trisahasri world, when the world consisted of 1 billion suns. There only the space is created, no space before that. So these things are happening in the vacuum. Everything is connected to everything. Everything knows about everything. No gaps. Right. That is what the vacuum keeps everything connected. In other words, I can explain that further. Now let us take our body. Right. Now our heart is connected to the lungs. And the stomach is also connected to the heart, and the brain controls every organ. Brain is connected to every organ. What if the brain is not connected to your eyes and some other organ? So the organs will not work, will not function. So that connection took place. The origin of that connection, the connection of the brain with other organs of the human body, originated from the beginning of the universe. The universe establishes rules, set of theories, set of sciences when it's creating the body parts of a human being. Then there itself, at the origin of the universe itself, from there itself, this connection comes, and it comes to our worlds too. Right? So that there's no gap, no space. it's a wisdom actually. Now we must think, we must try to figure out that how what created the connection, from which the connection between the brain and other organs of the body uh, created, who builds up that connection. That connection is coming from the distant universe. It's that universe, the universe is at an infinite distance from this present world, from our earth. And so that is why even today, when a human being, a baby is born, and the body of every human being, when we consider the body parts of the human beings, everything is connected, right? So that comes from the origin of the universe, and through universal wisdoms. There are theories for that. That's a wisdom, universal wisdom. So in that way, everything is connected to everything in the vacuum. Then when it comes to space, it's the totally opposite thing. It separates things. It separates everything. You know that the space originated at Trisahasri world. There only the mind originated, the matter originated. You know, when we have the mind, we always keep things separate. You and me and the building, you and the book, right? And everything. You see two things. You are one person and the other things are outside you. So you'd see two things, because there's a space, the gap is created between everything. So that is what the space is doing. From there onwards, only actually the egoism. When things started to separate, then only the egoism begins, because now there are things separate. So you want to be the owner of things. I want this, I want that, right? So you try to grab all those things, the objects or the other properties, other people, right? You want to say those are mine always, because there is a space. Things are separated. And in the vacuum, no matter, there's no matter in the vacuum. But we discussed that in the vacuum, at the origin of the universe, we say that there are only three elements: light, mass and time. When it comes to mass, you might think that there's matter also at the origin of the universe. No, this is not the matter, this is the mass. The mass is existing as a force at the origin. Mass has the collecting ability. It can collect things. It has the power of collecting things. It has the force to collect things. So that feature, that is the characteristics of the mass at the origin of the universe. So not the matter. And so as there is no matter, and things are not separated. Things are not separated. So that is, therefore you can't observe anything. You can't observe anything in a vacuum. If things are separated, only you can experience. If there's matter, you can experience. You can observe those things. And when it comes to the space, as I mentioned before, so everything is in the space. I told the divine planes and Brahma planes, divine beings, Brahma beings, and other lower class beings that due to their non-doctrine behavior, they fall into lower class and they suffer in their entire lives, such as the ghosts. Right? So they also exist. We can observe them also, right? So everything is in space. So we can experience the boundless taste of space also. Now when we just look at the space, we won't see any taste. But I can give you a simple example that why am I saying that there's a boundless taste in the space. Now when you go to the beach or you go to a mountainous area, you feel like looking around. It's a vast space. So you love to stay there because there's a large space, empty space. Your mind experiences a big relaxation there. So that is a taste. You love it. You can spend hours and hours at the beach and a mountainous area where there's no people and only the blue sky is there. So your mind needs the relaxation. That is the taste of space. That's the taste of space. So similarly here, through the meditation, when we go to the space, we can experience the boundless taste. I'm not just telling this, telling this with my own experience only. I am telling. I am also experiencing that, the taste of space. That is why you know that you may have heard that the people who are meditating, they say that they experience a lot of relaxation. They experience big relaxation. That's because their mind tunes to the space up to some extent, not to the full. They may not have achieved the up to the full extent, but up to some extent they experience the taste. The mind opens to space. Everything. What is everything in the space? Images, sound, smell, taste and touch. These are the only 5 things that we are experiencing in our life. Whether you are a rich person, intellectual person, a poor person, a murderer, smuggler, an animal. So every being is experiencing only these 5 things that the Lord Buddha explained to the world. Images, sound, smell, taste and touch. So images means the image of the people or the trees and other objects. So you see those things in the space, right? If there is no gap, no space, like they say now, your room is completely filled with some metal. You can't see anything, right? You can't see anything because there's no space in it. We can see things, we can see objects because there's a space, images, the image of every object. That image it occupies a space, right? My body shape occupies some space, some volume in the space. And the sound, you hear some sounds. Sound has to travel from one place to your ears, right? So then for that the sound has to travel through the space. So the sound is also in the space. Smell, the smell travels, moves to your nose through the space only. So smell is also in the space, everything. And the taste, when you want to eat something, right, and taste it, you need to take it into the mouth. If your mouth is filled with water, you can't take any food into it. No space. So you need to have space in the mouth to taste it, to taste some food. And touch, right? Now to touch this pen, my hand should come through the space. So to experience the touch, we need the space. So the space has everything and it has a boundless taste.